Hi everyone and welcome back to a new video on my channel. As I'm filming this, it is currently the 1st of May and we are having the warmest day we've had all year and probably since like last August here in Sweden. I think we have like 25 degrees. So I'm kind of sweating because we are used to 10 degrees Celsius, which we have had the rest of the week. But I'm definitely not complaining. I'm so happy that the sun's out. But hence the outfit. I'm in a tank top, I'm sweating. But we are picking my May TBR, which is always my favorite thing to do. I'm actually about to start a new book today and I'm super curious to find out what I'm reading. I did not do well at all on my April TBR. I'm not sure if I read any of the books I picked out for April. I didn't have a bad reading month, I wouldn't say. Let me check how many books I read. It's just that I'm more so focused on finishing off some series and I did some buddy reads, so that is more the reason. I finished one book today, but I'm gonna count that as if I read it in April, since I did read majority of it in April. 1, 2, 3, 4... okay. I did actually only read 3 books in April, which is not great, but they were longer books, so I'm gonna... You know, I had a good reading month. I read good books, so I'm happy with that. The way I always pick out my TBRs is with my little bunny jar, in which I have a bunch of prompts, and I will pick about 5 or 6 prompts and pick out my books that I'm reading according to those. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's see what the first prompt for the month of May will be. I am hoping for some summer reads, but I've also been in a fantasy mood and I've also been loving continuing and finishing off a few series, so that's kind of the vibe I'm going for today, I think. A book with 500 plus pages. Yeah, okay, that was not really what I was hoping for. I did just today finish a book that was like 600 pages long. Unfortunately, this definitely does not go with our book club book, because that is probably one of the shortest books I will have read. But I will go and find a few 500 plus page books and see what I can find. So I am buddy reading Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Miniscalco with a friend in a few days. So let's see if that one has... no, 430. That's sad. So I could probably pick out like 100 different books that I could read for this prompts, mostly fantasy books, including Fearless by Lauren Roberts, which I've put on so many TBRs. And I still have not read that, but I'm not going to put that on there again. I'm just going to read it whenever I feel like it. So instead, I've decided on A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. This is the last book that is currently out in the ACOTAR series. It is well over 500 pages. It is actually 750 pages, which is very intimidating, but also I'm already into the series and I'm itching to start the Throne of Glass series once I finish this one. So that will kind of be my motivation, and I might do like an immersive read with the graphic audiobook as well, which I've done with the 2 latest books in this series, and I've really enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think like I have 1 more week of my like full-time internship, and then after that I'm back to studying for a few weeks before I start working for the summer. So I should have more time to read this month, and I've definitely been in a reading mood now that spring is here and we have brighter days. So yeah, I'm feeling good about this. A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas will be the first book on my May TBR. Let's see what book 2 will be. Okay, we have one here. Fantasy. Not me literally just picking up a fantasy book. Okay, another fantasy. I will probably keep continuing series because I'm doing a good job at that, and I do have a few fantasy series to continue. So let me grab a few and go through them with you guys. Okay, so I've picked out 3 options. 2 of them would be continuing series and 1 would be like a fantasy standalone. So first of all, the series, which is A Taste of Poison by Sonia Odette. This is the, I believe, 4th book in the Entangled with Fae series. It has 5 books in total, and they are all like fairy tale retellings. So this one is a Snow White retelling, and I've been enjoying the first 3 books in the series. They are YA, which is noticeable, but I don't really mind that. Yeah, I've definitely been enjoying this, but it's been a while since I read the last one. They are all like interconnected standalones, so it's not like I need to remember anything from the other ones, but they do kind of have crossovers. Yeah, this is a pretty good option, I would say, so that is the first option. I then picked up Wisteria by Adeline Grace. I know that I've picked this up in a few TBR videos. This is the last part in the Belladonna series, which I've been really enjoying, especially Belladonna was a 5-star read for me. However, we did read the first 2 with our book club, so I think we might read the 3rd one in book club as well. I'm not sure, I haven't asked, but I don't want to risk putting this on there in case we are reading this for book club in the future. So I'm gonna wait with this one, even though this is probably the one I'm most excited for right now. And then we have The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrian Young. So this is a standalone fantasy. It's only 315 pages actually. But this one says, in the small mountain town of Jasper, North Carolina, June Farrow is waiting for fate to find her. The Farrow women are known for their thriving flower farm and the mysterious curse that has haunted them for generations. Raised by her grandmother after her mother disappeared, June has kept secret from the people of Jasper that her own unraveling has already begun. When her grandmother dies, June follows a series of clues that link her mother's disappearance to the town's dark history, leading finally to a mysterious door. Upon crossing the threshold, June embarks on a journey that will not only change both the past and the future, but entangle her fate and her heart in a star-crossed love. This sounds intriguing actually. I think, since I do already have such a big book on my TBR, I'm actually going to put this one on there, which also kind of matches the color theme. I've had this for a while. I did read Spells for Forgetting, something like that, by the same author, and I was a little bit disappointed by it. But I've heard a lot more about this one, and I've been wanting to read this for a while. And as I said, it's only 300 pages, so that would be a good option. So this one will be the 2nd book of from my May TBR. Okay, on to the next prompt, and let's hope for something different than fantasy, maybe? Okay. A book with a person on the cover. Okay, could do. I think actually our book club book has a person on the cover, so let me go get that because it would be nice getting that on the TBR. Okay, yes, this book would actually be perfect. It's I You Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. It's a dystopian novel. I believe it's about a bunch of women that are imprisoned and have been for I don't know how long, maybe all of their lives. And it's only 180 pages long or so. So that's nice to have 2 short books on the TBR. And as I mentioned, I already have to read this for book club anyway, so that will be the 3rd book on my May TBR. Okay, that was an easy one. Let's pick our 4th prompt for the month of May. A book with a number in the title. I'm not sure I have any, but let me go check. Okay, I feel like I missed a few, and I definitely could have picked like 6 Crimson Cranes as well as 6 of Crows, but I do not feel like putting another fantasy on there. So these are the options I could find that were not fantasy books. The first one being My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine. This is the 2nd book in the My Roommate is a Vampire series. I'm not sure what the series is actually called. But I thoroughly enjoyed the first one, and I'm very excited to continue the series. The only thing is that I might want to wait for fall to read this one. But then I think the same goes for the other option, which is the only one left. So both have one in the title. This is a thriller by Riley Sager, and I did nominate this for book club for this summer/fall, so I think I'm gonna wait with this one in case it wins the voting. And I will put my Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine on there. I think it's like a fake dating vampire-y book. I'm not sure, but as I said, I really enjoyed the first one, so I'm excited to get into this one. So let's pick our 5th book for the month of May. I think we're gonna pick 6 since I do have some shorter reads on there as well now. Book with hands or eyes on the cover. Ooh, I know one. I'm not even gonna look any further. I'm doing really good on continuing series at the moment, because the book I picked up is The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. Obviously, this has an eye on the cover. So this one is the second book in the Housemaid series. I did read The Housemaid maybe 2 years ago at this point. I did also watch the movie earlier this year and I really enjoyed it. So I'm super excited to continue this series. I don't know why I haven't yet, but I just haven't had the opportunity to pick it up. But now feels like the perfect time. So that will be the 5th book on our May TBR. Which leads us to the last prompt for the month, which is title with nature words. I feel like I'm getting all the cover and title ones today. Honestly, I don't even know where to start with that one, so I think I'm gonna pick a new one for that because I don't feel like going through all of my books, and I don't think I have one that is sticking out for this one. So let's pick our last prompt again. Friend's recommendation. Oh, I dropped it. Friend's recommendation. Okay, that I can do. Although most of them would probably be fantasies. I have the perfect one that is not a fantasy, and that was a 5-star read for one of my close friends. That is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I have yet to read this one, and she recommended this to me I think last year. It was a 5-star read for her, as I mentioned. And I've been super excited to read it ever since, but I just feel like I'm more in the romance mood towards spring and summer than I am in fall and winter. Yeah, this is about Daphne who falls in love with her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex. Which sounds very interesting. And I've read a few of Emily Henry's books before. I feel like they're kind of hit or miss for me, but I'm hoping that this one will be a hit. So I'm very excited actually. That means that these are the books that I'm gonna try to read in the month of May. I'm feeling really good about this actually. Let's go through them one more time. For a friend's recommendation, I picked Funny Story by Emily Henry, which is a romance. For a book with eyes or hands on the cover, I picked The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden, which is a thriller. For a book with a number in the title, I picked My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine, which is also a romance. For a book with a person on the cover, we have I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman, which is a dystopian. For a fantasy book, we picked The Unmaking of June Farrell by Adrienne Young, which is a fantasy. And last but not least, for... what was the prompt for this one again? For a book with 500 plus pages, we picked A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas, which is also a fantasy. I'm super excited to read each and every one of these books. Let me know in the comments below which books you are aiming to read in the month of May or in spring in general. And don't forget to press that like button if you liked the video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of me. And I hope to see you guys again in my next video.